Mushoku Tensei has been praised for its great story, animation, world building, and so much more. Today I wanted to share a list of what I think are the best fights. These are based on choreography and animation, so I'm not going to favor battles that have giant explosions and beams flying around, because personally I think it's easy to show characters moving so fast they become squiggly, compared to the effort that goes behind a good fight sequence, where even you as the audience go like, oh, he's got a knife, he's now behind him, he's blocked it with his hand, amazing. I'll start from the bottom, and don't be discouraged if one of your favorite fights got ranked lower, or they're just not included, because all the fights in Mushoku Tensei are really good, and this list is just my personal opinion. At number 5, we have Eris versus the Assassins in Milis. This was in the OVA episode where Eris goes on a goblin extermination quest, but finds a damsel in distress. We get to see her skills that she sharpened whilst traveling across the demon continent. All of the assassins are advanced level, and Rudius has said in the past that being an advanced rank would mean 10 years of training and be equivalent to a high Dan black belt in our world. Eris fighting multiple at the same time without taking any injuries is amazing, and the animation for the fight was equally as captivating. The Red Hood Cobra fight. This took place in the Demon Continent when Dead End were tasked with identifying an unknown monster in a nearby wood. It turned out to be a Red Hood Cobra, which is an A-ranked monster. So they couldn't just leave it there, and the quest would pay double for killing it. So we got to see Rudyard's superhuman strength and Eris just going at it. Then we have Dead End versus Orsted, the season finale fight, which got the epic showdown it deserved. Rudyard was fighting for dear life. Eris did a textbook perfect surprise attack from what should have been Orsted's blind spot, but it didn't work. Both of them doing a battle cry seriously got my blood pumping when I watched this for the first time. I really liked the animation for Rudius' stone cannon and fire spells, and the music was just set up perfectly. Eris vs Ghislaine. I already knew Mushoku Tensei was going to be amazing from the first episode, and this was just another testament to it. The animation here was jaw-dropping. I had to watch it at 0.5 speed to know what was happening. Both teacher and student are sparring, and I just can't think of anything else to describe the fight except that you have to watch it. Is it a coincidence that most of these fights have Eris in them? Of course not. She was the main heroine of the story, and because she was always alongside Rudius, she got a lot of screen time compared to other characters. Since this video is based on the best fights by choreography, of course the ones that utilize physical combat would be ranked higher than magical fights. If this video was about fights with overall best animation, then the list would be different. Finally, number 1 is Eris vs Rudyard, where she finally becomes a warrior. I'm going to walk you through what happened in this short sequence of events, which will explain why this is undoubtedly number 1. Okay, so we start with a clash just like Eris vs Ghislaine. Rudyard attacks Eris, she blocks it, but that was planned to be like a double tap. So Rudyard swings down again, but Eris ducks and steps back. Rudyard doesn't give her time to catch her breath and does a horizontal swing. Eris jumps and simultaneously attacks Rudyard. He blocks. By the time she's on the ground, Rudyard's swinging his spear again. She manages to just touch the ground a bit before having to deflect and loses her balance, so she gets pushed back. It's only been 4 seconds. Rudyard's attacking again, but Eris is very low on the ground, so he misses. And in that gap, she does a slash from below, barely missing Rudyard. It grazes his headband, and you already know he's like, geez. This man has more than 400 years of combat experience and is actually being surprised by an early teenage girl. Ghislaine said that Eris has a lot of raw talent in swordplay, and these are the moments where the audience can see it shining. So since Rudyard dodged, he uses the momentum to turn around and attack. Eris attacked so hard that she spins a little before focusing on Rudyard again. Eris needs to create some distance between them because she's too close. So she treads back and Ruijerd follows her. She manages to deflect, but the force from the attack sends her a bit higher. She uses the momentum to spin and do a downward slash with all her power. I literally felt that. But it had no visible effect on Ruijerd, of course. He's a monster that can kill an A-rank monster with his bare hands. So anyway, she knows this and rebalances herself on his spear and kicks Ruijerd. Whilst still in the air, she does another attack and Ruijerd steps back to dodge it. The distance between them now is most optimal for Ruijerd's spear to be used. So he does multiple thrusts and Eris manages to deflect or dodge each one. The speed of his attack is like multiple arrows being fired. Eris manages to push inside of his range, but obviously since the animators worked so hard already, we don't get to see the ending of the fight. But Ruijerd manages to defeat Eris and she sighs sadly. This was an absolutely amazing work from the animation team. Even Rudius started clapping at the end. Let me know if you agree with this list or disagree, and I'd be interested to know what you think.